All right, let's get right into it. The FDA has just given the thumbs up to new COVID-19 vaccines for this fall and winter. But this year is different. There's been a massive policy change and it's shaking things up, raising a really big question. In this new era, who can actually get a shot?
For the first time in years, the answer isn't just pretty much everyone. Nope. The new rules are a lot more restrictive. And believe me, they have kicked off a fierce debate that we are going to break down for you right now.
So, let's start at the beginning with the official announcement. On August 27, 2025, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration gave the green light to a new round of updated COVID shots.
Now, the newly approved shots are from three names you'll definitely recognize: Pfizer-BioNTech, Moderna, and Novavax. All of them have been tweaked to go after the LAP.8.1 variant, which was the main strain that health advisors were really focused on when they made their pick way back in May.
But honestly, the big story here isn't the vaccines themselves. It's about who can get them. The government has made a huge shift, a real departure from the approach we've seen for the past few years.
And the changes, well, it's stark. In the past, the recommendation was broad, encouraging most of us to get vaccinated and boosted. Now, the policy is totally pivoted. It's all about restricted eligibility, zeroing in on specific high-risk groups.
So who exactly fits into these groups? Well, under this new framework, if you're 65 or older, you're eligible. Simple enough. But for younger people, you can only get the shot if you have an underlying medical condition. And for kids, it gets even more specific, with different approvals for each brand. Moderna is for kids over 6 months, Pfizer for those over 5 years, and Novavax for those over 12.
Now, a policy shift this big, it needs an explanation. So how is the administration actually framing this decision? Well, their official message paints a very, very clear picture.
Here it is, a direct quote from the U.S. Health Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He put this out on social media, basically framing this new, more restrictive policy as a direct response to what he says the public was demanding: common sense, science, and safety. But to really understand this decision, you have to look at the context from our sources. Before he was health secretary, Kennedy actually founded an anti-vaccine group. Since he took office, his agency has cut a whopping $500 million in vaccine funding, and they've been arguing that for some people, the risks of the shots might actually outweigh the benefits. We've also seen reports that the administration's top vaccine regulator has overruled career scientists to limit these approvals.
So, as you can probably guess, this huge policy shift has ignited a really fierce debate. There are some very strong opinions on both sides. So let's break down the main arguments.
On one side, you have the supporters of this new, more limited approach. They argue that this is just a logical next step. Their position is that our vaccination efforts should be focused only on the people who are most at risk of getting seriously sick from a COVID-19 infection. But on the other side, the critics have a completely different view. Take Fatima Khan. She's a co-founder of the kids' health advocacy group Protect Their Future. She gave this really sharp critique, saying the system is basically turning its back on science and on the well-being of children.
And this criticism, it isn't just coming out of nowhere. It's rooted in a very specific concern. Data is showing that young children, especially infants, are still really vulnerable to severe outcomes from COVID, including being hospitalized. So from their point of view, by restricting access to vaccines, the government is picking ideology over science that's based on evidence.
Okay, so to get a better handle on why all of this is happening now, it's helpful to kind of zoom out and just look at the bigger picture of vaccination in the United States.
This whole decision was made against a backdrop of declining interest from the public. According to the CDC, vaccination rates have dropped a lot. Only 23% of adults and just 13% of people under 18 got the last recommended shot. That signals a major shift in how the public is behaving.
All of this leads to what is really a historic moment in public health. For the very first time since the pandemic started, the U.S. government is heading into the fall and winter season without recommending widespread COVID vaccination.
And that leaves us with a really fundamental question, right? This whole situation brings up a core tension in public health. When the science is being debated and the experts themselves are divided, how do we decide who gets to make these huge policy decisions that affect millions of people? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.